they were doing the job. They were serving criminal arrest warrants. I mean, the criminal search warrants. And I see the media saying, well, it was an ICE raid. No, they were serving criminal search warrants as part of a criminal investigation involved with child trafficking, child labor.
Okay, that's Tom Homan talking over the weekend about these raids in California. A lot of arrests at this pot farm, a total of 361 in 2 different towns near Santa Barbara. Here's one of those arrested. Previously deported in 2006, convicted of kidnapping, attempted rape, and attempted child molestation out of Mexico. Another one out of Mexico, convicted of rape and DUI. Another individual out of El Salvador, hit and run with property damage, also a DUI. 4th one from Mexico, another DUI and burglary, 3 times burglary. Todd Lyons is with me now, and Acting ICE Director, sir, good morning to you. I don't know if there's new information out of California, but you're welcome to offer that. Alex Padilla is the Democratic senator from California. He's been on this topic, and he said the following accusation from over the weekend.
Would I be a target of ICE enforcement under Tom Homan? Probably. And it's just wrong. It's not just due process rights that have become the concern, but racial profiling. When federal agents involved in immigration enforcement are using racial profiling, they're not enforcing the law, they are breaking it.
Sir, how would you respond to his allegation of racial profiling?
Well, first off, thanks, Bill, for having me. But I would say to that elected official that look at what we did this weekend or during the marijuana grow operation. Like Mr. Homan said, that was a criminal operation. That was a federal criminal search warrant and federal arrest warrant that we executed. So, Bill, we hear all the time that, ICE is out there. They don't have any warrants. They're just kidnapping people on the street. Well, we did exactly what elected officials on the left and the right have both said. If we had a criminal search warrant, if we had something signed by a judge, they would support us. And obviously they're not. We went ahead and did a dual law enforcement mission where we were looking at someone that was an organization based in America that was focused on human trafficking, forced labor, and potential child welfare trafficking. And that's what we did. We went ahead and we executed that search warrant, yet still we meet resistance and a lot of rhetoric for just out there doing our law enforcement mission.
Okay, so more to come on this. There's a Washington Post report about a memo that has your name on it. I'll go ahead and put it up and read it. Todd Lyons wrote in a memo to the ICE workforce on Wednesday that a Supreme Court ruling last month had cleared the way for officers to immediately start sending immigrants to alternative countries, meaning to countries where they are not citizens. Is that happening now, or when does that begin?
Well, Bill, it's always happened. That's been a part of the Immigration and Nationality Act for years. So we've always had that option to remove individuals to a third safe country after they were given their due process and to exercise their right to claim fair. But one thing, Bill, that a lot of people miss the point on is the fact that there's so many recalcitrant countries that just won't take back their aggravated felons. For so long, we've had criminals released that are here illegally, still having to stay in the United States because their home country won't take them back. The safe third country option has always been a part of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And like I said before, previously when you and I have talked, that ICE now is using everything in its law enforcement portfolio to include our law enforcement immigration mission. And we're going to use all the tools that's given to us by Congress in the Immigration and Nationality Act, and that's just one of them.
Okay, here's another topic I want to ask you about. Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades. It's July, it's Florida, it's hot. Democrats apparently made a visit there over the weekend, and they're firing back at you. Here's Debbie Wasserman Schultz on what she says she saw there.
The cruelty, the inhumanity, and also this was a pre-planned tour. They would not allow us, as members of Congress are required to be allowed, to tour the facility unannounced. They got wind that we were going to do that, and they pre-planned this tour. And I can tell you that they are not using the same conditions. They told me that they were in cages at this facility because they were temporary, and those are the standards they used. That is not true.
And there was a lot more commentary on that, not just her. How do you defend these allegations hitting you now on that?
No, Bill, what I'll say is, I've always said before, ICE does hold ourselves to higher standards, especially when it comes to immigration detention standards. Right before we got on, I was on a phone call with the Secretary Noem, and I was ensuring her that we spoke to officials on the ground in Florida that just this morning about an hour ago, that everything is in the condition that we want. You know, I've been down there myself. I actually personally went down there twice to tour it while they were building it. I think one thing that a lot of elected officials need to realize is this isn't a resort in Florida. That people aren't coming to that location for a long-term stay. They're there to just be housed so they can be removed from the country quickly. And like I said, I'll always go back to ICE prides itself on our detention standards. And I'm still going to stick with that with our partnership in the state of Florida.
Okay, all right. We will follow it. Todd Lyons, thank you for coming back and explaining all of that today on a Monday. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.